Yo, yo, what's good? What's good? It's Stormybman, and I am back welcoming you to Nerds on Culture for this Monday, April 10th, 2023. And this is number 41 in our series of Nerds on Culture. And this one we are calling Talks of a DC slash Marvel crossover event. Now that won't be the only thing that we talk about this evening, but that's like the main conversation topic for this evening. And as you guests in the chat come in, what I would like to do is find out exactly from those who are interested in these cinematic universes by both of these studios to express whether or not you have an interest in something like that, given the direction that both studios have headed in over the past couple of years. It's something to talk about. We've kind of been talking about these two companies a little bit on the regular over the past month or so, but we have to let our voices be heard as well, because if we do not do our part, it won't get better. And when I say it won't get better, that's actually acknowledging that the brands haven't been as good as they once were on both sides of the track. So that's kind of going to be a focal talking point this evening. But like I said, we'll chime and talk about some other things as well. Like there's some things going on in the Star Wars universe that I don't know if many of you are aware. And if you are, you can raise your concerns in the chat this evening, because that's what it's going to be about. We're kind of doing it openly this evening, and we'll kind of feel our way through this process for the show this evening. But with all of that being said, allow me to also welcome my co-host in on the show this evening. We got our brother Drew Titan in the building. What's going on, man?
Sensei, what's going on? What's good, chat? Let's do it.
Yeah, man. There's been a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. I think that there's some kind of a power play going on in Hollywood with this agenda-based situation going on, and now we're starting to also see a railing against the agenda. People are very unhappy with what they've been forcing on us, and I think that it's a good thing that the displeasure is being voiced, and I think it's a good thing when certain individuals are being ousted out of responsible positions that are causing a strain on the quality of what we spend our cinematic dollars on, what we want to pay to go and get entertained with, because we are working people. Some of us are, again, this is like an escape for us and everything. And the ways of society and the world shouldn't also be imposed on our entertainment like that. You know what I mean? So we're seeing this, and you and I have talked about it with several of Marvel's latest outings. And we're seeing that on the DC Warner Brothers side, the rumblings of everything that has gone on over there from the old regime of people from the so-called Snyderverse have been pushed to the side. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who has spent over a decade developing and trying to bring the character Black Adam to the screen, now turned out to be a one and done type situation there, because as he stated on one of those red carpets, he said, hey, it's just like you got a football team and new management takes over, and you have a quarterback and a coach that have won championships or whatever, and they come in and say, not my quarterback, not my coach. Those were his exact words. And that seems to be what happened with this Warner Brothers DC new regime. Your thoughts as we get ready to get into the conversation on some of this stuff.
What sounds like a great idea to the super fan may not be a good idea in theory if it's not done correctly. We've been on here voicing our concerns in reference to storylines, casting of characters, certain actors, people being removed, people being added, um, directors, people pushing agendas, and what we're what we might see. Although this in theory sounds good, um, you look at the if you remember the comic book crossover, all of these wonderful characters that we grew up and all of those conversations you had as a kid. What if the Hulk fought Superman? What if Aquaman fought Submariner? What if? When they had the know-how to do so, they had several crossovers, and to put it bluntly, every last one of them sucked. I could not find a story that I liked. And they also had a merging universe. It was just bad. And Marvel spent a decade building a universe. Not every movie was a slam dunk, but prior to phase 4, everything was really good. DC was playing catch up, but they hit some good points. The Justice League movie, I like the what you call it movies with the why am I having a brain fart, Stormy? With the villains, the what you call it, Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad was pretty good. So you have some things there, but it all comes down to writing.
Right.
It all comes down to creative control. It all comes down to who is going to give someone control who not only knows what they're doing as a director, but knows who to pick as writers. And the people that you put in charge of these things have to be fans of the content. They have to be fans of the characters. Ang Lee, doing the very first Hulk film that was not part of the MCU, that first one with Eric Bana, we were happy to see it because of the new CGI that Hollywood had access to. But looking back, I saw the film, but it wasn't good. And the reason why it wasn't good was because it wasn't true to what I grew up reading in the comic books and what I seen on the cartoons.
Right.
So to answer the question, in theory, it sounds like a great idea, but I'm concerned due to what they've done. Marvel Phase 4, for some reason, Black Adam is a one and done, which is ridiculous. You know what? Watch this. Let me be very simple, right? With what we have right now in Marvel and on DC side, if you get rid of Black Adam and Superman, I don't want to see a crossover. How about that? Because it's not going to make any damn sense. Why would you have Black Adam? Come on. You got to match these characters up. You want to know what happens if Batman fights Captain America. You understand? You want to know what happens if Deadpool fights what's his name? I'm having a brain fart all night. But you know what I'm talking about. Slade.
Slade Wilson.
You want to know what happens, if Hawkeye fights Will Smith character, what's his name?
Deadshot or Green Arrow.
You want to know what happens, and why would you have the Hulk not fight Superman? Why would you not have that? You know what I mean? What happens when Tony Stark's at a business meeting runs into Lex Luthor and Reed Richards walk up and they all stand there with champagne staring each other down? I mean, come on. These are things, as a nerd like all of us, you want to know what happens. But if you have a horrible writer, you're thinking about all this stuff, and then here comes somebody that wants to throw some superhero in there wearing a thong, and y'all know what I'm talking about, with an agenda-driven writer. None of it's going to make sense, and I'm not going to care. And I will keep referring to Marvel Phase 4 because that almost killed this thing for me. Marvel they have some making up to do, man. Now they have some tools, but if you can't F this up, but if they can't get this right, phase 5, if they can't get phase 5 and 6 right, I don't care to see a crossover.
And I'm going to tell you something. I think they've already cast the Fantastic Four, but I do believe that they're going the route of shock culture with their castings, and they're going to offend people. That's why they haven't announced it yet. I heard the film is already in pre-production. So, and the first person that they were looking to cast was Sue Richards, right? So it's like they were going to build the rest of the casting around Sue Richards. But I have heard such terrible rumors, man. Check this out. The confusion has been as such. They wanted the Thing to be a very ethnic character. Now,
oh boy.
Now listen. If you know who Ben Grimm is in the comics, he has a Jewish background. Okay? And you can't be more ethnic than that. But they said they wanted Ben to be an ethnic character like that, having a strong Jewish background. But the rumors have been that they were looking to cast an African American as Ben Grimm. Also, the rumors have been that they were going to cast some Asian guy as Reed Richards. And when I say Asian, I'm talking about like from India or something like that. Then Johnny Storm is kind of still up in the air. You don't know what they're doing with that because they haven't really said. But why are they going out of the way to do this? This is no more than what Fox Studios did when that guy brought Michael B. Jordan in as Johnny Storm, and they had all those other people. Man, I'm telling you, and word has it that they're getting ready to reveal who bought the upstate, not upstate, but the main city Avengers Tower. So, you know, it could have been anyone from Dr. Doom to the Fantastic Four. Reed Richards could have bought the building, or even Oscorp or something like that. So it's like very soon they're going to reveal who bought the building, whether it's, you know, they're just going to come out and tell you, or they're going to tell you in one of these episodes of a film or TV series. So they're kind of all over the place. A once well-run, determined, full speed ahead, this is the direction we're headed, studio seems now to be all over the place, man. And I don't know what to make of any of it anymore. But I will tell you this. If the Fantastic Four is cast and the cast looks nothing like what we showed on our air when we were showing the 60s cartoon and stuff like that, if the characters don't look like those individuals, I will not go to the theater and watch another Marvel film going forward. I will not. Because I am sick of this, man. I am sick and tired of it.
Why do they believe that making things ethnically fair is going to make the hardcore fans feel better about, you know, what they're giving us?
Don't even go any further with your question. You know what I think it is? The hypocrisy behind this bull crap. And I swear, I hope I'm wrong. Racial and ethnic relations in this country is at one of its all-time worst. And I think by doing something like that, they think, again, as a part of an agenda, that that'll do something to people and make them have a battle cry for, see, things are different, they're getting, but it's not. Remember, these things are our escapism.
It is. And that's why you should leave it alone.
We
And let
should
me,
be able to escape away from the pressures of everyday life of what we're dealing with. And now you're going to put it in the films and the movies and the TV shows that we love and watch with the characters, and you're going to bring that stuff there?
you want an example of that? You know, it was tough to deal with, but thank God the movie was so good that I was able to ignore it. For those of you that don't know in the chat, you should know. That character, Flash Thompson, is very instrumental in Peter Parker's life, his entire life. He's not just a fly-by-night character. They goofed him up twice. When they first brought Spider-Man back, you know, he had a bit part in the first Spider-Man film, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. He was a bully or whatever, and he did the backflip and punched him, and he went flying down the hallway. And you ain't see him anymore for the rest of the series. You ain't see him, but in one movie. And I'm like, you don't leave Flash. Flash Thompson was Peter Parker's bully. Flash Thompson is the reason why Peter Parker has a high level of integrity right now. Because with great power comes great responsibility. And when he got the power of Spider-Man, he knew, he said, you know what? I can literally kill Flash with my bare hands, but Uncle Ben taught me better. And he still played the nerd, and he avoided Thompson. Okay, so now fast forward, I don't recall him being in the rebooted Spider-Mans, but and the new Spider-Mans, a part of the MCU, well, all of them are MCU now, but you see Flash Thompson, but he's an Indian kid.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, look, don't make, because I point out there's a discrepancy with that, don't make it seem like I'm being racist. First of all, Flash Thompson was a white guy with blonde hair. And he was a jock. He was a football player, and he was a bully. He wasn't some short Indian kid who was, because in this new one, Flash Thompson is an Indian. I don't know why his last name is, okay, he's an Indian kid. His last name is Thompson. Just like when they call your house and they ask to speak to you by name and they say, hello, this is Rob. Your name is not Rob. Your name is Mahmoud. Stop playing with me. All right. So if this kid's name was Flash, his name is Flash. Flash for what? They didn't even explain why his name is Flash. No Indian kid in the school is named Flash. And did he not have an Indian accent in the movie? Like kind of like an Indian accent? Or am I bugging? Or he had an Indian accent, did he not? But you see, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because they destroyed what we were used to. There's some things you could just leave alone. Okay? You don't make Flash Thompson anyone else but a white guy, a white kid who's a jock, and he was a dunce cap and he was a bully. Leave that alone. You don't take Ben Grimm or Johnny Storm and make them black. Don't do that to us. Stop it. Stop. Don't do that. Stop recasting these characters and making them a different ethnicity. All right.
Salute to main event Mark. He said, Flash Sink.
Flash Sing. Exactly. Flash Ramen. You know what I'm saying? Flash Rahman. I mean, come on, dogs. Why are you goofing us up? Don't do that. Don't do that. You don't need to do that. It's okay. If he was white, that's funny. If he was white. He was a big white football player. Why would you do that? If they make Ben Grimm some big nigga, they're gonna take Ben Grimm and it's gonna be Ben Wallace, the former Pistons player. It's like, why would you do that? Don't do that. He said Flash Patel. Here we go. Flash Salam Alaikum. When I saw the movie,
leave it to our chat, man. It's like
I'm watching the movie and the lady was like, Flash. I was like, what? That's Flash Thompson? I was like, man, you gotta be kidding me. But you don't
My
need to
stomach
do
hurting
that.
already.
You don't need to do that. Leave it alone. And what we're saying is it's okay. Don't add anything. The
But
casting.
what's even worse is they got black characters that they can't even get off the ground. Like, what the hell is going on with Blade, man? They announced that 5 years ago with Mahershala Ali, who is a perfect replacement for Wesley Snipes, by the way, not because of Wesley being a real life martial artist and who could handle the action scenes with the plum, but Mahershala Ali is an Academy Award winning actor.
For real.
And he wanted this role. He went to Kevin Feige and said, hey, what y'all doing with Blade? And Kevin Feige was like, well, we really didn't have anything going on. Why? What's up? And he's like, hey, me, you know? And look at what they've done to him. It's like you're so busy trying to make irrelevant issues prominent and people sticking them in roles that they don't need to be in, and you're doing away. Like, okay, the Black Panther 2 film, right? Riri Williams. Okay, she's gonna go on to become Ironheart, right? But they had a slate with an announcement that a film called Armor Wars was coming, and that was supposed to be Rhodey's film. So far, what we've seen is that they've done away with Rhodey. He made a couple of appearances in some of the television series, just like as a walk-on to say, oh, that's a familiar guy. But he didn't suit up. He didn't do anything. And now his film that he's supposed to have, Riri Williams is getting her own TV series called Ironheart. Where the hell is Rhodey at? And the thing is, it's like, remember, I just said it. They can't get the black characters right to save their lives. We're not even going to go into the conversation about what they did to T'Challa. So you're trying to make everybody else. I'm so sick of this, man.
It's frustrating. It's frustrating. It's very frustrating. And look, man, how can I explain this? People that think that this is over the top for us. Somebody has a favorite thing. All right. Now watch this. Watch Stormy. You remember we talked about James Bond a few shows ago. Do you remember the uproar when they were about to make James Bond black?
Oh, yeah.
And there was an uproar. Now, I, for one, I was like, there's no need to do that. There's no need to do that. Take another, and I know they had Idris Elba, because if y'all don't know, he hides that accent so well. Idris Elba is from
British.
the UK. He's British. So that American talk that he has, that's practice. He's British. I know that they were trying to get Idris Elba to be the next James Bond. They don't need to do that. All they had to do was say the latest 00. And he's from the same unit.
MI6. Yep.
MI6, and that's it. He don't have to be James Bond. He don't have to be that.
Well, hold on. Check this out. Check this out. They actually did that already, but it wasn't Idris Elba. Guess who it was?
Who?
The black woman that they had in the Bond film. Remember? She was the one who played the one who played Carol Danvers' best friend in Captain Marvel, the black girl.
Yeah.
They brought her in as a 00. And she had a significant role in the damn latest James Bond film. This is what I'm saying. The agenda. Yeah. They didn't even have her as a dude. They had her as a woman coming in, being as good, if not better, than Bond. That's basically what the implication was.
They're doing this to us, man. They're doing this to us, and we need to take a stand. That's why shows like this is important.
I promise you, if they cast this Fantastic Four film like I'm hearing that it's gonna go, They will never get my money at the theater again. Never. I don't care if they brought back Secret Wars with all the people teaming up from all the other films. No, I don't want that. I didn't ask for that. I asked for quality, and I asked for the characters that I grew up loving and reading their books. And that's all.
Yo, we're gonna make a chant, Stormy, with signs. We're gonna protest in Chicago and New York. It's not fair. It's not right. Fantastic Four is all white. It's not fair. It's not right. Fantastic Four is all white.
Listen,
and we're gonna get called all kinds of sellouts and everything. Look, stop messing with my childhood. Michael B. Jordan. He's Eric Killmonger and Johnny freaking Storm. And he was almost Superman. Do y'all understand? Come on, stop this. Stop the nonsense, man. Stop the nonsense. Cut it out, man. Stupid.
I don't know what to make of where they think that they can really get off scot-free doing this foolishness.
Well, you know. The writing in these updated comic books ain't been too good either, from what I've heard. You know, making Colossus a pillow biter. I heard about that. I think Superman has a son that's a pillow biter himself. I'm reading what Made him Beck Mark said. He said Samuel L. Jackson, Nick Fury, though. Yeah. You know what, though? Here's what I will say. In the comic book, they explained the connection between the black Nick Fury and the original white Nick Fury. They're actually related through universes. They explained that crap, though. It's kind of bugged out because the black Nick Fury is from the Ultimate Universe. And there's a whole thing. Did y'all know Nick Fury had a TV series played by David Hasselhoff? Did y'all know that? Bet y'all didn't know that. Came on TV. Yeah. So, I mean, look, they can at least get that correct. Get it correct. If the Fantastic Four isn't anything but three white guys and a white woman, I'm not watching it. And that's another thing, Stormy. Every film they have successfully effed up Doctor Doom. For those of you that don't know.
This is what I want to see them do for the coup de grace. Listen, make Wolverine black. Make Wolverine black.
There will be an uproar. An uproar. It couldn't make Steve Rogers black. Go all the way with it. Bruce Banner, black. Do it. Let's do it. Let's do it all. Let's do it all.
Thor.
I bet you didn't know that Tony Stark's originally was supposed to be Latin, right? I bet you didn't know that. Tony Stark's supposed to be Latin. Let's do it all the way. Forget Captain America, Captain Mexico. He ate a bunch of Canelo cows, and boom, super soldier. Let's do it all the way. Let's do it. Let's mess up everything. Let's do it. Just goof up my childhood, why don't you? Guys, man. Fantastic Four is all white. Just goof up my childhood, man. You guys make me sick. Hollywood, man. Michael B. Jordan as Johnny Storm. Man, and did you go see that in the theater? Fantastic Four?
No.
Yeah,
I waited for it to come out on video. And I could have waited another 30 years because that was totally...
It was a bad film. The only thing about that film was the CGI for the Thing was dope. That's it.
Well, because it had gotten to that point where they could actually do it and make it worth the while. Mm-hmm. But I don't even understand what they were trying to do, man.
Well, this goes into everything that we're saying. If they can't get casting correct, Why the hell would we want to see a DC and Marvel crossover when everything is effed up beyond repair?
The most acceptable, and you know, I understand why studios don't want to necessarily follow up with fan casting for cinematic roles, but you can't get better than old boy that they had in the Doctor Strange film, and his wife from A Quiet Place.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of their names right now. What
I know you're talking about, but it don't get any better than that.
Dude, that's who the fan casting was. People wanted both of them for Reed and Sue. That's perfect. Perfect. Quality actors and actresses and directors, because he's directed, respectable, can gain you box office because he alone has put out great, you know, product. They're gonna go and get some guys that's of a different ethnic. Man, they're gonna screw it up, bro.
I have zero faith in it. I have zero faith in it. If I see an Indian Reed Richards, I'm punching somebody in the face, Stormy. I'm punching somebody in the face. I'm gonna go to the damn theater and be like, yo, you waiting to see the Fantastic Four? Yep. And I'm gonna knock him out. Boom! Asshole. You're gonna see me in cuffs. Like, yeah, this strange big nigga from the Bronx just knocked out somebody because they was going to see the Fantastic Four. My mugshot is gonna be insane. I'm gonna be like, Fantastic Four is really white. Man, this is like upsetting.
They know what they're doing, man. They know what they're doing, and they still trying to force it. But check this out. You saw Wakanda Forever, right? Now, I just saw somebody in the chat say they didn't see Wakanda Forever. Don't waste your money. I don't tell people how to spend their money, but I'm just saying, because you're gonna be angry. But anyway, Lupita, she was in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
There were several scenes where she was involved doing some stuff, some action scenes, different things happening and taking place. But did you notice? Because I noticed they did everything that they could to not show that woman's behind. Did you pick up on that, Drew? And I'm not saying it as a creep. No, I'm saying it because that sister is endowed, okay? But they did everything that they could. As soon as it looked like the camera might catch it, it was a cutaway shot. As soon as it looked like she was turning a certain, if there was a different shot or angle, they made sure that they did not show her posterior. Did you catch that?
I was wondering if I was bugging because I'm a bit of a perv. I was like, I'm looking for it.
What I'm saying is, no, and I haven't seen a lot of her fare. I really haven't, just to be perfectly honest.
Mm-hmm.
But what brought it to my attention on the Blu-ray, the behind the scenes featurette.
Behind the scenes,
yeah, they're like they're like, you know, talking on stage, on the sound stage and stuff, and it's like a full shot from her, and I'm like, holy smokes, that girl got a big old booty. Yeah. And the thing is it's like, that's when it occurred to me. I'm like, in the movie, you don't get to see her booty at all. And I'm not saying it like, oh, let me see her booty. I'm just saying that that's who she is.
They downplayed her beauty in a sense.
Exactly.
And but you know what they made sure we saw? The two bald-headed warriors kiss. Just a peck kiss. Hello, my love. Mwah. It's like, oh yeah,
they made sure they showed you Chris Hemsworth's ass in Thor.
And that's why. And that's why I said, yeah, but man, like, I didn't pay to see that. I really didn't pay. Man, that movie pissed me off, boy. Yo, you ever left the movie theater wanting to fight?
Yeah, I wanted to fight in the theater. Shit.
Yo, you jumped up, was looking around like, what the? You get over here,
Man.
oh man.
But see, this is how you know that we're on to something here, because it may seem like for someone just coming in and catching our conversation, oh, what are these guys talking about? No, we're talking about the fact that they're consciously doing things, but they think they slick. They're not slick, man. Why is it okay to see Chris Hemsworth's ass, but not to see a booty shot of Lupita? Why? You tell me and ask me which one I would rather see.
I can't see her, and she was fully dressed, by the way. Fully
Yes.
dressed. So I can't even see the half moon, but I can see the full moon of Chris Hemsworth. Like I asked for that. I mean, there's so many things wrong with that. Did we ever do a trash review of that?
Not good enough. We
Yeah.
didn't go deep enough. We didn't.
Yeah.
I think there's still some parts of the limbs hanging, sticking through the dirt. We didn't cover it all.
Yeah,
That was
I
horrible.
really don't think that we shit on that movie bad enough. I mean, people really need to know how messed up that film is, from the writing to the agendas that we're pushing.
Especially after I pointed out to you about
Bro.
Cord talking to those kids and
To those
teaching those
kids, man.
right?
That went right over my head
And
when you
what we're
said it. I
seeing
said,
in schools today.
yeah,
Really?
bro, come on, man. See, those kids that are involved in all that crap going on in school today, they went to Thor and that was normalized. I ain't even gonna take in that direction, but see, this is all relevant. If you still got backwards storytelling and writing like that, why do you want to see a DC and Marvel crossover? I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it, man. This is supposed to be good news. The potential of a crossover is supposed to be good news. But do y'all understand that Rock is no longer Black Adam? That shit is over. That was a one and done.
Henry
You understand?
Cavill is no longer Superman, and that's the only person who could play Superman since Christopher Reeve that audiences liked.
Yep. Not the guy from Smallville, not the other guy from the TV series that they keep showing. They're okay for where they are.
Not even Brandon Routh. Brandon Routh was probably doing the best Christopher Reeve impersonation that he could in Superman Returns, but people still thought he sucked. Running around in there in that teal colored suit with maroon cape. I don't know what the hell were they doing?
Again,
It's like, dude, that wasn't even Superman's colors. It's like you're looking at the movie and you kind of get this feeling like something's wrong here. It's not Superman.
Stormy, you remember when the Eric Bana Incredible Hulk? At that time, I said, this ain't the Hulk. This is Shrek 3. The color was too bright. He's getting angry and growing to like 8 feet tall. He's fighting pit bulls. And was his father supposed to be Absorbing Man? Is that what that was?
That's what they had tried to turn him into, man. And the thing about it was, with no explanation, they just threw that in at the end. Oh, we don't have enough money for special effects, so let's just make it like this.
Then you had this chick moaning, that weird ass, oh, when they were fighting at the end. I'm like, what is going? I left the theater. I said, all right, I'm trying really hard to like this film, but who directed this? And then you find out Ang Lee, and I'm like, oh, doesn't he do martial arts films? I was like, yeah, well, he don't know. He said he wasn't familiar with the character at all. Man, I threw my hands in the air. I said, why would you get this? They don't respect us.
He don't do martial art films. He got lucky with a little film called Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yeah.
But that had more to do with everybody who played in the movie than him.
Yeah.
But at the same time, let us not forget, he did Brokeback Mountain. Now, we had Brokeback Hulk. because he come in there and he was like not the Hulk that we know.
Oh my God. Can I tell you a story real quick about that movie? My boy is from Kingston, Jamaica. And he said he's been here for a few years, but that movie made him hate it here. He said,
The Hulk?
no, Brokeback Mountain.
Oh, Brokeback Mountain. Okay.
He said he didn't have any idea what the hoopla was about with this film. His wife wanted him to go see it with her. He's sitting in there and he's trying to figure out what the hell's going on. And I got a story about Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon too. So he's sitting there and it's with him. It's with him, same guy. He's like, what is this movie about? You know, two cowboys go to the mountains and he's just trying to figure things out. And he didn't figure it out until like near the end of the film. He said, wait a minute. Now he's a yardie. So, you know, it's they're old school when it comes to that.
Right.
And he
They
said,
don't
man,
really endorse that kind of stuff.
he said he just sat there and he just looked at his wife for the last like 20 minutes of the film. And he was like, you know, I don't get down with this. Why would you have me, you know, but she got Americanized and she wanted to see what the hoopla is about, but you go see, you ain't got to bring your husband. And he said he ain't never been so mad. He said he ain't talked to her for like 3 days.
Can I share something with you guys? All of you out here and you too, Drew. I ain't never seen the movie.
I ain't seen it either.
I know what it's about. I've heard enough that I said, yeah, I'll never watch it. It ain't in my collection or nothing. I'll never watch that film. When I heard what was going on, as much as I grew up watching Westerns, bro. My dad was every Saturday morning the Cisco Kid and all of that kind of stuff. Listen, never will I watch that. Huh? Never. But
I never watched it. He told me there was a scene where they ain't see each other in a while and they pop back on the screen and they like how you ain't see your wife in like a week. And then I was like, bro, you sat there for that? He said,
you trying to tell me that this is a part of the Westerns, that the story that never been told? Well, God dog it, you shouldn't have never told it because nobody wants to see that, man. Nobody.
Well, this same friend of mine ends up in the movie theater to see Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. This nigga went into the wrong theater, right? The movie was in Chinese, had no subtitles. This nigga was sitting there. He looks around. It's only Chinese people in there. He's looking around. He was a bumper clock. I said, yo, Donovan, you should never go to the movies ever again. You have the worst.
Yeah.
He got tricked into seeing Brokeback Mountain. And then he goes to see Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon in the oceans in Chinese with no subtitles. He said the whole time he was sitting there like this.
Man.
Yo, I said, bro, don't ever go to the movies again, man.
That's crazy.
Oh, man.
That is absolutely crazy, man.
Damn. That was funny. He was pissed off. He said, man, fuck the movies. I can't take it. But yeah, man, this is where we at. Marvel DC. I am not looking forward to it. I don't know if it's a real conversation or listen.
No, because James Gunn has gone over there to DC and he has had talks. I pulled up an article on it from Esquire magazine, and it says this article is dated from the 4th of this month, Empire Magazine, it says James Gunn talks a potential Marvel DC crossover. And he quoted as saying, "I'd be lying to say that we haven't discussed it. This is an exclusive." And the article is online. I'm not gonna read the article out loud here because I know how YouTube be acting funny. But
Can't read that nowadays.
Yeah. But anybody that want to see his interview in that edition of Empire Magazine is the one with the Guardians of the Galaxy on the cover. But he's basically saying that they've talked about it, and he's certainly that it's a possibility, but it's many years away. And he says he thinks that they got to establish what they're doing at DC first before they do something like that. But I'm gonna tell you something. I think he's dealing with a short rope. I don't think that what he's got planned to do is gonna pan out. And I think the Superman film, everything is kind of like hanging in the balance on that. And because he decided to recast and go a different direction, I think it's going to collapse on him because people are sick and tired of this. They're sick and tired of being pressed the reset button when they get things going. Ben Affleck has come out and stated that the cameo role that he had in the new Flash film is some of the best Batman work that he was asked to do since he took the role of Batman on. Now that's coming from Ben Affleck himself. Ben Affleck is not going to be Batman anymore after the Flash film. So it's like all of this, James Gunn, Peter Safran, you guys suck. I hope that nothing that you do is successful because you came in here and you totally crapped on the fans. You crapped on the fans, man. You didn't even pay any attention. And you come in there and you think everything is a joke. Everything has to be a foul mouth display or whatever. And there's humor in all of that. No, no. People go to the films for escapism. You lucked up with Guardians of the Galaxy with Marvel, and they gave you the keys to their wicked kingdom. And you see where they are now. They're in the garbage can. Because they thought after you, everything needed to take that tone. Because that's where it started. Guardians of the Galaxy. Yes, it was different. His film opened up, the guy is dancing and he got old school music playing and stuff. Yeah, that was different. But why did every film after that have to take on that kind of persona? That was his influence. And that dude, Taika Waititi, you know, came in there and just ran everything else into the ground, especially with the Thor franchise.
Yep. That's just what he did. That's just what he did. Because I don't appreciate it. I don't appreciate it. And not even Chris Hemsworth appreciated it. For him to come back as Thor, he had to have better writing. He said that. And this is what we're dealing with here, family. The schmuck stuff.
It's really bad, man. It's really bad.
We
had asked for a Black Widow film way before the last two Avengers films, right? We had asked for it because it's like Scarlet was popular. It was, it was worth the while to see that. And then they wait till after the completion of that storytelling, and then go back in time and try to tell a story of how she became Black Widow and all. No, you blew it. You blew the opportunity because we were already invested in the completion of her character's story arc from the Avengers film. And that played a prominent role. So for you to go back and do a film about her after that took place, that diminishes what happened in the film. And the thing is, it's like people, you can't do that and think that it's okay. They've been sticking it to us for a very long time.
Woke culture took a character like Taskmaster and completely ruined it. For those of you that don't know, that character Taskmaster, whom is a B character in the comics, but he made it to a video game. And I was very happy to see him make it to the silver screen, because let me tell you something. He's badass. He's a savant. And he's a human, but he can go head up with anybody with powers, because he could literally watch your fighting style and he can compete with you on a level, on an athletic level. They've ruined that character. They kept all of his abilities, and then you find out it's not a him, it's a girl. Now, Drew, why is that ruining the character? Here's why. Because in the comic books, it's a man, and he's a bit of a smartass, on a level of Deadpool kind of smartass. He doesn't break the fourth wall or nothing like that, but he's nice with it. He is nice with it. And they took the character and ruined it. They had to look down. I like the updated look, and I like that he had a shield, and you know, he was nice with it. Take the goddamn mask off. It's the girl that they thought blew up in the beginning of the film. I never want to see that character again in the MCU. Shout out to Woke.
And the thing about doing that, if you want to bring characters that are female, that are black, that are of a different ethnicity from a third world nation or something like that, create them.
Yep.
Tell their stories, create them. But don't take the ones that we've been reading for 30, 40, 50 years in the comics and change them into that.
This is horrible.
What the hell?
Now
Why
you hear all
should
of
I
this.
go see that? Why should I go see that?
All of these things we're talking about, again, why do I want to see a Marvel DC crossover when everybody on both sides of the spectrum they're messing things up?
Unless it's gonna be a DC Marvel cross-dress type of situation that is undeniably where they seem to be headed, huh? Trans wars, huh? Yeah.
They're gonna have Captain America come back. He's gonna have a boyfriend. Yeah, that's what they're gonna do.
Well, remember, there was that one line he spoke in the damn film, the Avengers film, when he's fighting himself. That is America's ass. Remember that shit?
Yeah,
that was
did.
totally unnecessary, Drew. In chat, that was totally unnecessary. Steve Rogers had never said nothing like that in any of the films.
In any comic. He's never. Come on, man. Come on, man. They sneak it in. They will 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 sneak it in at all times.
Tony Stark was an alcoholic in the comics and a womanizer in the comics. We didn't even see that in the films.
They made reference to it, but we never seen it.
We never seen it. They didn't even touch it. They didn't make Tony Stark into a Romeo in the films. And Doctor Strange is one also. He's a Romeo. But they didn't show that in the films, but they made sure that they showed us that the girl had two parents that was the same sex. They made sure that they, you know, it's like they stayed away from the real Mandarin, huh? And gave you a damn comedian in the place of the real Mandarin, when Tony Stark should have crossed paths with the real Mandarin, because that's one of his major villains. Yep. What the hell, man?
Yep. What they need to do is leave this up to the audience to make the decisions. A real crossover in my mind, it's easily a 3-movie deal. You could focus on A characters meeting each other. Like, let me paint this picture for you guys. This is not even a superhero moment. This is not even a superhero scene. There's a big old fundraiser or something. And it's in Gotham, and you have Bruce Wayne, right? And he's doing this thing and meeting and greeting. And in walks Tony Stark's, another billionaire tycoon, and, you know, they walk up to each other and they just start matching wits, just talking, you know, high-tech level stuff, right? And they don't know who's who. But can you imagine something happens at the party and Batman and Iron Man do show up and they're fighting off the Joker and Bane or something like that? You understand? I mean, that's a movie in itself, a crossover with Batman and Iron Man, because outside of their superhero identities, they have a lot in common as far as finances and you know, the superhero identity, man. I mean, just simple things like that. Simple things like that. But we got to worry about them having boyfriends or being bisexual and, you know, having gay kids or, you know, I mean, all kinds of weird stuff that have nothing to do with no story that we care about. Just stupid, man.
Salute to Daryl Alexander in the super chat. He says, karma is a mofo. Marvel did Wesley and the Blade character dirty. He never really got the credit for showing them that the world wanted Marvel movies. Without the success of Blade, X-Men, and Spider-Man may never have been. Yeah, you know, and salute to you, Daryl. Thank you for your super chat. But you know, you're right. It was Wesley's Blade that kicked everything off for Marvel.
Yeah.
He really did. And the fact that they didn't even consider him at all for the new project in any capacity is really absurd. Really absurd. They never called him or anything. Hey, we want you to play a character in the film. You could be the original Blade passing the mantle or whatever. It reminds me of Samuel L. Jackson playing the nephew of John Shaft in the Shaft films, where if you were going to do a so-called remake of Shaft, Samuel L. Jackson was definitely a great actor to put in the role, but the way they ended up doing it, he was not necessarily as good as the Richard Roundtree Shaft, because they made him less cool. He talked crap, which is what they'll allow a black guy to do on film.
Oh yeah.
They don't really want to show a black guy having the wherewithal. And remember, that was what Richard Roundtree's Shaft was all about. And he didn't even like playing the click character, believe it or not. He played him in 3 films, but he didn't really like that character, Richard Roundtree. Let me get to this other super chat we got here. Just a second here. I want to put it up on the screen for us here.
T. Berry, salute.
We got T. Berry out there in the super chat. Appreciate you, T. Berry. Says, they book was mediocre. I'm sorry, I don't want to see that movie. The book was trash, too complicated. I'm not interested. Shout out to Marvel and DC trash. You talking about the crossover?
The Marvel DC crossover was
I never read the book myself, but I'm just saying the rumblings of them even considering that, with how far off both studios have fallen. If they had just let Zack Snyder complete his 5-film project, DC would be sitting in a great place, and they would have been able to go in different directions based off the characters in those films, because he had the Justice League right there. And even though Cyborg is not really a part of the Justice League, he's a part of
Teen Titans.
the Teen Titans. But what was great about him was bringing him in was like having their own Iron Man, so to speak. But he was different than Iron Man, but he could do a lot of what Iron Man did plus some. And they blew it. They totally blew it, man. You could have had Aquaman go off into Aquaman adventures, Wonder Woman go off into her own adventures, The Flash do the same, Batman. You could tell when you watch Batman versus Superman that Zack Snyder always wanted to make a Batman movie, because Batman versus Superman is a hell of a Batman film. It really is.
It is. It is.
That warehouse scene is one of the best scenes you will ever see involving Batman in action. That dock scene where he's chasing on the dock and they going around, dude, that is awesome. Zack Snyder was meant to make superhero movies.
How do you?
All you gotta do is watch The Watchmen. The Watchmen is a hell of. And what's interesting is I never knew about the Watchmen comics. I just saw his movie. But when I saw the movie, I was like, damn, I ain't never seen no superheroes like this. You know what I'm saying? It was like, and it was good.
Yeah. Yeah, they're complicating something that's easy, because when these books are out, the blueprint's already laid out. That's why I'm saying casting should be easy. Story writing should be easy. Now, the DC Marvel crossover, it was trash. I didn't like it. The fights that you did see, it was like it was rushed or something. And I think there's a story behind why I was rushed. I think there's a story behind that. But the fights you wanted to see, you didn't get enough of it. The Superman versus the Hulk, it was like 5 punches and Superman won. I'm like, come on, stop this. Lobo versus Wolverine, they tussle, they fall behind a bar. Wolverine gets up, starts smoking a cigar. He wins. I'm like, what happened though? I mean, Hawkeye versus Green Arrow, it was ridiculous, man.
Let me take you to a fine piece of cinematic filmmaking. That opening fight scene in The Watchmen where the comedian is getting beat up. That shit was brutal. It was fierce. It was entertaining and gut-wrenching all at the same time. That was one of the best. I was like, and then when dude went out the window,
yeah,
that's some of the best stuff I had ever seen.
Do you remember the scene where they got the old superhero and he was hallucinating? Like he was young. I mean, he was seeing him for a second. He was throwing some hands, but they got his ass. I was like, shit, he's hallucinating. Like he's fighting old.
Yeah, like he was back in the day, you know?
Yup. And they got his ass. They killed him.
What about when Hawkman and old girl was in that alley and them dudes was trying to mess with them? And they got
that little nerd dude with the Jewish afro start kicking their ass, boy. I was like, what? They spinning, and I was like, yo. But the storyline, it dragged. But if you know the storyline, you look at it, and when you figure out what's going on, you're like, oh man. And he put Dr. Manhattan in that position. He said, yeah, I can't let you leave, man. And Rorschach was like, just do it. But Rorschach got the last laugh because he thought several steps ahead, and he got his book out, and that was crazy. And Dr. Manhattan's an overpowered character too, by the way. But whatever.
When Rorschach was in jail, and he was like, "I ain't locked up in here with you.
Yeah,
you locked up
with me." Did you know they sell a Rorschach mask that changes?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's for sale. It's online somewhere. I saw it. They put that you know, the stuff on it that makes it look like it's 3D, and when you turn your head, it looks like it's moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That,
pretty
that
dope.
was, listen, a very underrated film, man. But Zack Snyder knew exactly what the hell he was doing. So when I heard that he was making Man of Steel, I was like, I gotta check this out. And the thing was, they were complaining that Brandon Routh's Superman Returns didn't have enough of Superman in there fighting and punching somebody. Well, Man of Steel did not disappoint, boy. Superman was in there punching everything. He had Zod dragging him on the ground. You ever touch my mother again? He was inside.
He turned
Man,
black
they
for a
were
moment.
going at it, bro. Man, that was good. And I was like, to see Superman fighting somebody like that, bro, it was great. How could you not make a sequel to that?
Ego. Somebody in charge. I gotta believe somebody in charge was like, you know what? This is getting a little too much credit, and I don't want him around because that thunder he's getting, it could be my thunder. That's the only thing I can think of, because the movie did well. Why do you not run it back with that guy? Why do you not do it? Why are you so jealous of this guy? And again, all of this leads to what we're talking about here. Being that DC has single-handedly effed up the writers, some of the actors, and Marvel along those same lines with crappy writing. Do you trust a crossover series? Now, you messed up the comic book. You can clearly make a better storyline for this Marvel DC crossover, which, since we're dealing with universes and stuff like that, is a very easy thing to do. What if you have a Thanos and Darkseid stare down, which happened in the comic book? You saw them staring each other down, and you was like, and you know what, Stormy? They never told you what happened. This was bad, and it was poorly written. But there's a reason why I was accelerated like that, but I don't know. But come on, y'all. It's ridiculous, man.
You see T. Berry's question there? Let me put it up there on the screen.
Oh, yeah. Yep, that part. That's what's happening.
Probably one of those studio executives that was a dude. You understand?
That's an in-house thing. That's an in-house thing. And it's like, yo, no glove, no love.
Yep.
If you want to go to the next level, come see me at my Beverly Hills mansion, where it'll just be me and you and some oil. I'm telling you. And a lot of these guys,
stuff happens so much more than you realize, man. You won't believe some of your favorite stars, entertainers, professional athletes. I mean, didn't Rachel
got on here and said it.
Didn't she say?
She said when those athletes get some drinks in them, you'd be amazed what they start talking about. I'm telling you. Yeah, Main Event marked the casting couch. Yes, that shit is real. You remember Stormy? You remember Fame, the movie?
Yeah. Yes.
You remember that scene where dude was trying to shoot? She thought she was just taking pictures, and then he was like, "Yeah, why don't you take your blouse off? Take your bra off." And she was like, "What?" Yeah. Those models and stuff. Y'all remember Tyson Beckford? Yeah, I heard some stuff about him. Matter of fact, his own cousin snitched on him. His own cousin snitched on him because his cousin was doing some modeling. But in order to go to the next level, he said, you got to come with me to this party. And then when he checked the temperature of the party, it was like young ethnic models around with older white men. And he's looking like, where the women at? And people going upstairs.
Listen, what's his name? The comedian. What's the one with the permed out hair? He was.
Cat Williams.
Cat Williams. He told it. That's why you don't see Cat Williams on now. Because
that's why they brushed him off and made him crazy.
Yep, they put him to the side. But remember, Cat was hot for a minute, big time. Yeah. But he told it in one of his stand-up routines. He blew the whistle. He said, "Man, I went up there and messed around, was in one of them parties, and I'm looking to the wrong room.
Yeah. And
you see some stuff in there." He's like, and then he said a name during the skit, he was like, "Is that so and so in there?" He was like, "They do drugs right in front of you." Yeah. So what we're gonna do is sniff. Yeah, we're gonna put you in this movie and this and that. It's like he was like, "Whoa."
Yeah, you gotta get down and lick these nuts first. This is your entry level, and they'll video it. So if you ever act out, they're like, "Yo, we're gonna leak this video."
Yep. Get you in your most compromising position.
You'll
and
get
then
all
it's
the
also
roles.
been said, like, for the women, it's even worse because they got more holes to fill.
You'll get all the roles you want, but when you get that phone call, yo, we're gonna fly you out first class to LA. You gotta go see so-and-so. Casting call. Oh, you already got the part, but let me see what that mouth do.
Why y'all think they came down so hard on Monique when she decided not to go over there? All it was supposed to be was a thing for the promotion to go over there, promote that film, right? That's what you were told.
Yep.
But Monique was supposed to go over there and put on a show, a real show, and she didn't do it.
They tried to get Dave Chappelle.
They ended up getting him though. They ended up getting him because that's how he ended up he came back.
But I'm glad he stood on his square, because I heard the story and they said by the time you land back on the other side of the country, they're gonna deem you as crazy and you'll never work in this town again. And I'll be damned, that's what they did. They started saying he's having nervous breakdowns and shit. They wanted to put him in a dress.
They did it to Martin.
They did it to Martin.
Martin had a nervous breakdown. Remember, he was supposedly walking down the expressway with a gun, talking about they trying to kill me and this and that.
Yeah. Don't play those games. That shit is real, man. So when you have these breakout actors that came out of nowhere, listen, I can't help but to wonder. I can't deny or confirm, but I hear a lot of stuff. When you get your big break, why do you think they call it a big break? Broke back.
Yeah.
A big break, your Hollywood break. You get broken off.
Yeah.
Break in the industry.
I heard a long time ago that, you know how when people be talking something, hey, what's going on, man? They say, oh man, it's all gravy. You hear that term, right?
All gravy.
I heard that term was actually based on some of those things that people have to do and go through. Gravy.
I'll take you one better. I'll do you one better than that. Some dude did a commentary on it was on one of the I think on TLC, one of those home fix up shows and something. And he was fixing up this millionaire's house. And the millionaire obviously was gay. He was walking with his husband or whatever it was. And, the guy that was interviewing him kept doing it. And it was a noticeable gesture with his hands. I see that shit. And he kept doing this. Something like this. And the guy narrating the video, he said, you know what he's doing with his hands? And I noticed it. But I was just watching this video like, what is he about to say? He said, that's a gesture letting them know that he wants in their world. More than their bedroom, but the circulation of money and, he wanted in on that world as far as business was concerned. So he could,
it's the privatized lifestyle.
So he can be taken care of in the future.
Right.
He was in that circle, and it was noticeable. He kept doing something with his hands, and I said, "What the fuck is that?" Now, if y'all know about these societies, and I ain't gonna say no names, but everybody has little signs or whatever, and if you're not in on it or up on it, you won't catch it. But that's why a lot of cats get caught up and don't go to jail, or they bang the gavel on them, and you're like, wow, I thought he was gonna get life. He was walking around in the street 5 years later. Yeah, because you're not in on it. These things happen in Hollywood, and y'all might think what we're talking about right here, right now, what I'm saying right now, has everything to do as to why Marvel and DC is messed up right now. They probably tried to get these actors to do certain things, and they were like, no. They said, all right, well, we could live without this Marvel DC stuff. We could close the shop right now. And think about, go watch that last Thor movie. I mean, it was everywhere. Go watch Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. It was everywhere. And then think about why Cavill and The Rock. I mean, you really are looking. I wanted to know what happened between Superman and Black Adam when they met. Now we'll never know. Because maybe these men are like, you know what? I ain't going to no goddamn, I'm not going to no fishing trip with you. I don't even fish. I'm not going to your house. What's going on? Okay, well, fine. Ain't going to be no goddamn Black Adam movie. Well, I'm going to do another Fast and the Furious. I don't need you. And the reason why we're thinking about that, we're thinking along those lines is because look at the agenda that everyone's pushing. We're not safe, man. Stupid.
Well, with that being said, let's give our final thoughts, man, because you got a show coming up in a moment.
Oh, yeah. Painful Excellence podcast in a little while. You know, I'll see y'all there. Another great show, Stormy. This was kind of a downer because we're not getting what we want, but it must be said, we got to talk about things like this because if we don't, who is? But it's refreshing because other people are talking about these things, and hopefully someone hears us and say, you know what, let's give the hardcore audience what they want. You know, Marvel did really well 10 years. Shout out to The Rock and Henry Cavill for giving us Black Adam. That's one of the better DC movies. And hopefully we just get it together and we're proven wrong. We don't want to be right about any of this stuff, but hopefully we get proven wrong and we start getting some solid things. But I'm not confident about this Marvel DC crossover. Get it out your mind until y'all can get it right. Thank you, Main Event Mark. I appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And, you know, as far as what I have to say, I've said it, you know, most earlier. If they change the ethnic aspect of the Fantastic Four and don't give us the characters as they were originally drawn and conceptualized, I don't want to see any more Marvel films. I've had my fill of this foolishness, man. I can't go through that no more. You know, won't take it. But yeah, man, this has been another Nerds on Culture. I promise that we'll have a different type of topic for our next show.
Yeah,
and we'll entertain from a different aspect. But just know that when we do these shows, we do them with that voice of, you know, everything that's representing what we think and feel about our culture, man. And that's what this is. This is a culture show, just like the one that's coming up with Drew in a few minutes. That's a culture show. So be sure to take your energy over there and show some love and support there. But we're going to get on up out of here. Peace to everyone out there. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Yeah.
Peace.